Before we jump into the episode today, I want to share something with you from my heart. First of all, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I really can't tell you how much your support means to me. We've been doing the podcast now for almost 4 years. I can't even believe it. And I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you that listens, shares an episode with your friends, sends me a DM or a text message letting me know how an episode resonated with you or any aha moments. Seriously, I couldn't be more grateful to be able to create this podcast. It has been such a blessing in my life, and I love hearing the ways it's been able to provide value in yours as well. One thing you might not know is how much work it takes to be consistent with a podcast. In fact, did you know that the majority of podcasts don't make it past episode number 10? And we are well beyond that. And it's just a lot thinking of the episodes, recording them, editing them, managing the guests, making sure that everything runs smoothly and gets uploaded consistently and regularly. And so that's why I have created an amazing opportunity for you to support the podcast monetarily. And in exchange for that, you will get exclusive premium subscriber content. So for as little as $3 a month, you can become a premium subscriber of the podcast. And every month I will upload new voice-guided workouts and breathwork meditation audio for you. So that way you can work out with me, coaching you in your ears. You can also take a moment to reduce your stress and relax and come down and ground down with one of my breathwork audios. So if that is on your heart to support the podcast for as little as $3 a month to become a premium podcast subscriber, I can't tell you how much that means to me and the growth of this podcast. I appreciate you. If you're interested, click the link in the description, become a premium podcast subscriber, new content every month, and while supplies last, I'll send you an exclusive podcast coffee mug so you can have your self-love and sweat coffee every morning. I appreciate you. Now let's get into the show. Welcome to Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast, the place where you'll get inspired to live your life unapologetically, embrace your perfect imperfections, break down barriers, and do what sets your soul on fire. I'm your host, Lunden Souza. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. This episode is super special. This episode is all about stories of random acts of kindness. So you're going to hear short, quick stories from people all over the world about when a stranger and someone they didn't know was really kind to them or helped them out in a really cool way that they still remember. So it's been really awesome. I created this 10-day, just to give you a little background, I created this 10-day More Love, More Sweat challenge, a workout and kindness challenge, which you can still join today if you want to. You can find the link in the show notes. And when I created this challenge, I started reaching out to others, asking them, hey, when a stranger is kind to you, what are they doing? When someone is showing you a random act of kindness, what is it? What feels like kindness to you from a stranger? And I started getting all of these really amazing stories and these videos from people I've met, people I've never met, but just have been following on social media. And it's been such an amazing experience to hear these stories, because what you'll hear is that it doesn't take a ton of money. It doesn't take, a full day or a full weekend of your time to just show someone some kindness. It's really simple. It's really easy, but we just have to kind of get out of our autopilot in order to find more opportunities to be the kindness and see the kindness in this world. So thank you everybody for contributing your stories. Here they are. Random act of kindness stories.
Good morning, Coach. So my story revolves around something that I don't care for, yard work. Necessary evil if you own a home. Like the end result, just don't enjoy the process, right? So one day I'm outside, I'm doing the yard work, cutting, trimming, sweating, suffering. And I get a tap on my shoulder from behind. Freaked me out a little bit because I had my headphones in. I was in my zone. So I turn around, and there's an older couple standing behind me. So I take off the headphones, And I say, how you doing? Can I help you? And the gentleman says to me, my wife and I, we walk by here a lot. We drive by here a lot too, because we live right around the corner. And since you were out here, we just wanted to say, you do a really good job taking care of your yard. Every time we come by here, it looks nice. And since you were out here, we just wanted to say, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. So, after he told me that, I was ready to cut grass for 2 more hours, right? So it's been a few years since that happened. I haven't seen him since. I don't know if he even lives in the neighborhood anymore. And I still don't like yard work. But I think about that every so often. Sometimes when I'm doing the yard work and I'm struggling, I think about what he said that day. He's kind of my patron saint of yard work, and that usually gets me through. So, but I always appreciate him taking the time to stop by and give me that compliment, right? Still resonates today. So that's my story about kindness from a stranger.
Hi, my name is Aubrie, and this is my story about a random act of kindness from a stranger that I won't ever forget. My friends and I were about 18 years old. There was about 6 of us. We're riding bikes one day. And then all of a sudden, my friend's tube inside the tire popped. So here we are, pretty far away from any of our houses, miles away from any of our houses, and we can't go on together because of my friend's tires popped. A gentleman driving around sees us and stops his car and says, "Hey guys, I live right up the street. I have tubes and tires and a bike pump. Do you need it?" And he was able to bring my friend to get a new tube, and fix his tire. And it was just such a beautiful observation of somebody that was just doing his own thing during his day and saw a group of kids that were probably needing help and came to tune in and see what's up. So you never know who's there or who you can reach out to as well.
Hi, Lunden. I have a great story for you. So when I was in high school, I used to go to this gym here in Massachusetts, and I would go every single day. And there was this one day where, for some reason, whatever it was, I was really upset. And there's just a lot going on in my life, whatever it was. But when I got to the gym, I just broke down and I was crying. And I was really kind of embarrassed about it. I was trying not to show people that I was crying in the middle of the gym. I was a little bit ashamed, and, didn't really want to talk to anyone about it. But this woman that I used to see every single day, every time I went to the gym, she was an older woman, and she was always killing it. She was always grinding, like pushing herself, working so hard, total badass. So she noticed that I was upset. We had never spoken before, and she came up to me, and for whatever reason, she just had this inviting personality and this warmth to her that I ended up kind of sharing with her why I was upset that day. And we sort of started our relationship there. And she invited me over to her house. And so I went over for dinner and I learned all about her kids who were adults and grown up. And she just became a really big inspiration for me, for someone who just was kind to everybody and pushed herself. And I could tell that she really, really cared about the people around her. And she's still part of my life to this day. We still text back and forth. But she made a really big impact on me that day, and I'll never forget how she made me feel, and that'll always stick with me. So, yeah.
Back in my first year of high school, algebra was not my thing. I flunked algebra the first 2 semesters. Now, in the old days, you could do it in 2 semesters or 4. And I got called into the principal's office. And the principal sat me down, and I was frustrated and upset, thought I wasn't doing good, and thought it was all me, and I never was going to learn anything. And he gave me a piece of advice. He said, "I think I'm going to put you in geometry." And I went, "Are you nuts? What are you going to stick me in geometry for?" And he goes, "No, sometimes kids learn differently." Put me in geometry. I averaged 110 on every test, never did a day's worth of homework, found a joy and a passion for a subject that math, that I'd never enjoyed. Now, what kid who grows up to build things doesn't know the Pythagorean theorem? So shout out to principals and all the teachers out there who are doing the little things behind the scene to encourage kids to keep at it, keep trying, that you can do this and you're going to make something of yourself someday.
Hey, my name is Anastasia, and I wanted to share with you a story of kindness that I just recently experienced. So I was actually sitting at a drive-thru, a fast food drive-thru, not too long ago. And there was a really long line at this drive-thru. And there was this guy at the front that was actually trying to cut in front of everybody. Now, I don't know if he was in a rush or what was happening, but he was trying to cut. And naturally, nobody was letting him in the line. Now, because I was feeling just really mellow that day and I had some nice music playing, I decided to let him cut in front of me. And the crazy thing is that when I pulled up to the window, the drive-thru attendant told me, you know, you don't owe anything because the guy in front of you paid for you. He paid for your meal. And that was the guy that I let cut in front of me. So I thought that was such a sweet gesture and just a really great reminder that when we do things for each other from the heart, without expecting anything back, without expecting anything in return, wonderful things happen, and that kindness always comes back to us.
I really hope that you enjoyed these random act of kindness stories. I hope they inspire you to go out and find more opportunities to be kind and help others. And if you want to add your story to the random acts of kindness playlist that I've created on YouTube and potentially have your story be featured on future episodes of the podcast, go ahead and check out the show notes for all the details on how you can submit your video, submit your kindness story, and together we can help spread more kindness into the world. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Self-Love and Sweat, the podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, give us a review. This really helps a lot. And share this with a friend. I'm only one person, and with your help, we can really spread the message of self-love and sweat and change more lives all around the world. I'm Lunden Souza, reminding you that you deserve a life full of passion, presence, and purpose, fueled by self-love and sweat. This podcast is a Hit Spot Austria production.